Then in China, they got away with winning the sprint race. But in the news has been brought to attention that after the sprint race, they don't check for the plank wear. They didn't check for it, and the FIA didn't check for it. To me, they knew what they were doing. They got away with it in the sprint race. In the long race, they didn't get away with it and got DQ'd.
So they're gonna probably do all types of tricks, and this last race probably just kind of snipped them out too early, with all that tricks that they were doing. Because I think they are desperate for winning.
But I told Nui that now we don't need you here because you want too much control. You might have wanted to give it to him because it's clear he knows nothing about engineering. It's clear that Ferrari knows nothing about engineering. They changed their front axle, which no problem. But if you're going to make a change like that, you need to know what the consequences could be for it. It looks like the consequences is that they have a good sweet spot, but their sweet spot is problematic because it probably causes plank wear and also issues with being too light, which is also linked to the plank. Now, going into Australia, it was clear they knew they had an issue with this, and they raised their ride height. Then in China, they got away with winning the sprint race. But in the news has been brought to attention that after the sprint race, they don't check for the plank wear. They didn't check for it, and the FIA didn't check for it. To me, they knew what they were doing. They got away with it in the sprint race. In the long race, they didn't get away with it and got DQ'd.
I quite agree with you because there was a sharp disparity in speed between the sprint qualifying and the race. And you begin it begs the question, what really happened? And what actually happened was that they were running on a very low height setup for the sprint. And because the height was not measured after the sprint, they got away with it. And then you look at the race proper, a guy whose front wing plate was off actually outpaced Hamilton. How do you explain that? Leclerc. How do you explain that? So it was obvious there was something suspiciously dubious that they were doing in the sprints. They didn't get found out because the height was not measured. Maybe the weight was. But when it got to the race, there was a sharp decline in the
this goes to the FIA. They're not consistent.
Of Hamilton, yes. The FIA is not consistent. Yeah.
How much money they made from Hamilton winning the sprint race on the media and everything? They made a ton of money, and then so they need more consistency because this looks very suspicious. Also, also they're saying that Leclerc had a tighter line in the race, and that might be why he beat Hamilton. We'll never know. He might have even had more time.
It was even lighter. It was actually lighter.
How can you be racing? You are racing without your front end plate, and you still outpaced Hamilton.
Yeah, that's why he was. That's why he was faster because he was actually lighter. Yeah, that's one of the things we found out.
More downforce too. Yeah, I mean, there's a million things, but it's clear that it's just pure chaos at Ferrari. And what's his name said something specifically dubious. Leclerc, he might have been snitching on his own team because he's mad about the attention they're giving Hamilton. He said, we may not be as fast in the long race because there's some things we have to adjust. You get my point? I know Lorenzo said they were working with a lower downforce in the race, but that conflicts with what some other people are saying, in which they're saying they actually had the same or even lower in the sprint. So this is conflicting information. There's so much conflicting information in F1. But what's clear is something went wrong. And on top of that, they got their setup wrong if they weren't cheating, at least they got their setup wrong for the long race. The team is in disarray. They don't have any understanding of what they're doing. Now, Red Bull's car is just slow, but Red Bull never gets their track stuff wrong. They get the right setups and everything. It's just that their car doesn't have the pace. But it looks like Ferrari is in disarray. They have no leadership, and they have a problem in which their sweet spot is not tenable. And I go back to saying, why the hell did they change their front suspension? You can't do that. You can't roll dice in F1. Oh, let's try and win by doing that. Why not try and win by keeping what you had last year, which was beating McLaren in some races and gradually improving? What are your thoughts, Mr. Johnny? Yeah.
Oh yeah. Actually, I actually want to wait for another race or two to really make up my mind on Ferrari. I have a feeling, they're gonna be doing a lot of tricks. they're going to be tricking a lot because I think they really need to win. First of all, Hamilton wants to win. I mean, he has to win his eighth. And then Ferrari, they haven't had victory in a long time since Schumacher or since whatever, since Alonso, I don't know who, Raikkonen, I don't know. So they are hungry. Right, so they're so they're gonna probably do all types of tricks, and this last race probably just kind of sniffed them out too early, with all that tricks that they were doing, because I think they are desperate for winning, and I think Hamilton is going to miss that. There used to be a lot of organization in Mercedes. Mercedes they're very methodical in what they do and everything. It's not going to be like that in Ferrari. Ferrari, they're going to just take some vino and then the solution will be like vino and then just hit it or do something and then to work or hopefully.
And you look at the teams with the Mercedes engines are doing. Is Williams have a Mercedes engine?
Yeah, I think it's Mercedes. Yes, it's a Mercedes engine.
And this goes back to what I say. The Italians don't know how to. They're not engineers. They're not, and they're proving it again and again. They're proving it again and again.